to a media briefing at the 9th annual meeting of the New Development Bank in Cape Town. I understand that the Finance Minister, Enoch Godongwana, is addressing there. Let's go there.
So we've had all of those discussions, but I want to leave it to you people to lead me by asking questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Colleagues, I'm going to take questions. If you can introduce yourself and your media outlet you're coming from. Thanks. Lemise?
Getting the finance a little longer.
What happens is the following, is that there's an amount approved by the NDB. Sometimes it takes time for the authority concerned. Let me just give you an example. We have got an approval for the hydro project in Lesotho. Mind you, Lesotho is not a member of the NDB, but because the benefits of that project are likely to supply water to South Africa, so we've been able to, TCTA then is the applicant, which is, as we speak, to my knowledge, no disbursement has taken place because we've not there has been no requisition from our side. There will be a number of those projects that taken. We'll give you a ballpark figure of total disbursement to date is 18%. 1.8. Yeah. Now, got that information yesterday. I'm trying to track down on the details as to why, and that's why I know about Lesotho and HyProToll, because I specifically asked about it. I thought it was still not approved. It turns out it is approved, but there has been no request for disbursement from our side by TCTA. There may be some delays on the Lesotho part which make it difficult for us to execute. So, what?
What's the amount they place for the Lesotho project?
It's 3.5.
And so your 18% is of the 3.5?
No, of the 5.8.
5.8 of the total that the NDB has approved to South Africa in the last
Yeah.
18%.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hillary?
Look, at the moment, they say it's in dollars.
No. Lesotho's the 3.5 million.
Right.
Yeah. Lesotho is 3.5 billion rand. Let's give the gentleman from TAS.
No, there was, before him, Minister, there was Hillary.
Yes, Minister, the Deputy President this morning in his speech mentioned I think it was $3 billion or maybe $3.2 billion that the BRICS summit pledged to support renewable energy in South Africa. So I'm just trying to place that in the context of, is that NDB money, is it BRICS money, has it flowed yet, is it going to go? Is it dollars in the rand? I just wanted to get
No.
around to that.
I mean, my sense is that it's going to be an NDB kind of money over a longer period. To the extent that you can get money from the other BRICS countries, I suspect it could be via Chinese distribution. I'm just going to look at the language.
Thanks, Minister. Can I get my colleague from Russia?
Yeah. Talimax or Justice Agency. If returning to the bank's agenda yesterday and today, do you think that we could see in the near future the common digital payment system common to the BRICS countries? How the preparation, how you discovered this idea? And the next question, of course, if your ministry participate in the elaboration of program of South African delegation to the BRICS summit in Kazan, that will take place in October. Thank you.
Let me start with the first. There's no resolution by the bank or by the summit or the Minister of Finance for a common digital currency. To my knowledge, I don't know of any such a resolution. You can read Johannesburg Declaration, doesn't talk about those things. What is being referred to, even in the leader's statement, it's quite important to draw this distinction because even in the media there's a lot of confusion. It's quite important to draw this distinction. In the leader's statement, what's being referred to is local currencies. That distinction is important. That's why the NDB is different from other banks in the sense that it provides a loan in local currencies. Even if it gives in dollars, in the finances from their side, in the finance, they've got translated into rand and cents. Our loan must be in rands and cents. So we must draw that distinction between what is called local currency and all of these confusing terms that are being used. Digital, every country, every central bank is discussing that. How is it going to deal with digital currencies, cryptocurrencies, and so on? What regulation mechanism? All jurisdictions are discussing that. Across the globe, it's not only a BRICS phenomenon. It is applicable to everybody because we've got to grapple with this question. Oh, yeah. The Kazan meeting was supposed to be 8 and 9 of October, which was far from this. It was supposed to be in Moscow 8 and 9th, which was far from the summit, which is going to be held in Kazan around the 20-something. My understanding, our Russian colleagues are preparing to shift it from the 8th and 9th to closer the summit. We'll hear from them. But we will be represented in both the finance ministers meeting and the summit. I use carefully the notion represented. It does not necessarily mean it's going to be me. I know Deputy Minister Saropen will be representing me in that meeting.
Thank you, Minister. Can I take the last round of questions before we close off? Reuters. Why am I getting feedback? Can I take Reuters and then Bloomberg, then Hillary, you'll be my last one. Thanks.
Minister, this whole push towards using local currencies all part of looking to sort of pose a positive alternative global financial framework. In January, the Russian central bank governor suggested that the BRICS countries, as well as NDB, is looking at the potential to use a pool amongst the reserves as a single pool for BRICS members, so that if a country, whoever that country may be, experiences, let's say, a sanctions hit or something like that, then they can access this pool. He suggested that those negotiations were hopefully to be finalized this year. Is there a sense from your side of how those negotiations are going? And from a South African perspective, is South Africa willing subscribe to this common pool that can be used in stress times, please?
I can tell you, as the current chair or outgoing chair, the last Minister of Finance meeting I chaired was in April. I've never seen such an item on the agenda. I'm not saying some people are not thinking about it. It's never been on the agenda. So I don't want to mislead you, but what was the first part of your question again?
It was basically, the NDB is using local currencies as an alternative to help rejig the sort of the payments and the settlement systems. But part of those discussions involves, according to the Russian Reserve Bank, Central Bank governor, he said that you guys are considering, the BRICS countries are considering a common reserve pool based on your reserves, basically. So the figure that he used then was 100 billion. So if any country is in trouble, you guys can access that.
To my knowledge, the discussion is about a payment system by the central banks, not a common pool or something. But I know the discussion, a payment system by central banks. So I can leave the question there.
Thanks, Minister. Paul?
Hi, Minister Paul Bekiout from Bloomberg. Just going back, in your meeting yesterday, did you discuss expanding the BRICS shareholders to any of the new countries, I believe Bangladesh, but more the...
Bangladesh is already a member.
That's right. Is there anything for Saudi Arabia possibly becoming a member of the NDB or shareholder?
Why Saudi Arabia?
Sorry, becoming a shareholder.
Why them?
Just as an example.
Okay.
And there's also Iran and
Why those two? Why don't ask Botswana? I'm in Africa. Yeah, Botswana. Yeah, let me just say the decision to expand the bank was taken long time ago. Membership of the bank, long time ago. And that decision does not coincide with political membership. For instance, we have Bangladesh, which is not part of the BRICS countries. We've got Egypt, which is just recently, but it has been part of. So we have been discussing that. They have got a press conference this afternoon, the NDB. They will explain that membership expansion and which are the new members. It's not my decision, but there are new members. So again, you will see in those new members, there's no correlation between the political membership and the bank membership, because the criteria is different. The criteria is different. The bank has got to take into account what are the implications on these rating agencies when they bring on this rating, when it takes membership. So something which is not a criteria the political leadership use. So we have taken that decision a long time ago. Iran or EU or Saudi Arabia can be members if they meet that criteria.
Thanks, Minister. Hillary is the last one, and then and Ayanda. Hillary?
Minister, the chair, as I understand it now, passes to Russia.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that the NDB has not done any lending to Russia since
New lending, yes.
New lending to
Yeah.
Russia
Since 2022, since the war.
since the war, which is since the war. So my question is sort of twofold. First of all, with Russia being the chair of the New Development Bank, but the New Development Bank not lending to Russia, not lending new loans to Russia for reasons of sanctions and so on, is that going to be politically awkward? Would you expect that Russia, as the chair of the bank, might put pressure on the bank to start lending again? Is my first question. And the second related question is there any political awkwardness for South Africa, going to Russia for New Development Bank meetings or so on? Because, we are walking that delicate, non-aligned line. So does this make it in any way politically awkward for South Africa that the chair is now passing?
Does it make it politically awkward for us to go to the United Nations meeting in New York? Or does it make it awkward for us to go to Washington for the IMF and World Bank meetings? We are going to an international meeting which happens to be hosted in Russia and by the Russians.